All right, here we go. We only got a few minutes here, maybe 10 minutes at the most. So let's try to get as much done as we can. So I'm going to draw a polygon. Let's make this 5 sides this time instead of the 6 like we did yesterday. So there we go. And let's talk about this, how to name it, and all kinds of fun stuff.
Wait, didn't we already talk about how to name polygons?
Don't think so.
We did. We did.
How do you name it? How do you name it?
Naming.
Well, you told us the
Based on the size.
classifying.
Classifying.
Yeah, I didn't tell you how to name it though. Like this polygon right here. If I want to name the polygon, now we know what kind of polygon it is, right? We can classify it by a pentagon, right? Because it's 5 sides. We haven't learned how to name it yet. So we are going to name it. So I would just call this, you could call it 2 things, I guess. One of 2 things. You could just call it polygon. You know how we have different symbols for things? We had symbols for a line segment, array, all that stuff. Well, we don't have any symbol for polygon, all right? We just write the word polygon. That's all you do. It's not the big of a deal. And here's the deal, how you would name this. You would start at any point. It doesn't matter. Just because A comes first in the alphabet, it does not make any difference. You can use any letter that you want, but I'll call it A. And then you can go in any direction you want as long as you go around the polygon. I can't do this. Everybody watch. I can't call this A, C something. Do you see what I did? I skipped the B, all right? So I could call it, let's go left. You could call it what? A, B, C, D, E, or you could call it A, E, D, C, B, right? Doesn't make any difference. And you don't even have to start with A. So there's all kinds of names you could call this. I don't know how many combinations there are, but there's a bunch of them. I'm just going to do the one that looks a little more familiar. Just go in alphabetical order, okay? You don't have to, but I'm just going to. So I'm going to call this polygon A, B, C, D, E. Not the prettiest, nicest way to name this thing, but that's the name of it, okay? It's a polygon. If you wanted to, you could call it pentagon, A, B, C, D, E, or you could change the order. Let's start with another letter instead of starting with A. Let's start somewhere else. Where do you want to start?
C.
C, all right. So you got 2 ways to call it if you start with C. You could go what? C, B, A, E, D. Everybody following?
Yeah.
Or you could go C, what? D, E, A, B. It doesn't make any difference. As long as you go in order, all right, and you can go one way, go the other way, doesn't make any difference. Which way you want to go? C what? B? All right, so C, B, A, E, D. That's the same thing. It's talking about the same exact thing, all right? Most of the time we would just use the word polygon instead of pentagon, but you could do either one. Let's talk about that diagonal. We were talking about that in the homework, and you're like, oh, what's a diagonal? So here's what a diagonal is. The diagonal starts at any vertex. Pick a vertex. Somebody pick a vertex for me. I heard E first, okay? So here's an E. The diagonals are these. It's not the ones that are right next to that vertex, okay? So AE or EA is not a diagonal. What else is not a diagonal? ED. But you could go from E to what? B, all right? And then you could go from E to what? C. So how many diagonals does this have? 2. We're going to do something later. I think it's in another chapter. We're going to do something later where we deal with this on how many diagonals we have. We're going to do a bunch of stuff with that, okay? But this is just to get us started, just to learn the words. But we will do some math with this later on, I promise you. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about, let's make another figure. Let's go back to white. Let's make I'll let you figure out what this is. What is that? It's a triangle. We'll call it ABC. Now, we do have a symbol for a triangle, okay? We use triangles so much that we have its own special symbol. So we don't just call it polygon ABC or write the word triangle. We have a symbol for it. And guess what that little symbol looks like? Yeah, good guess, all right? So it's a triangle. The little triangle looks just like that. Don't draw a right triangle. Don't draw an obtuse triangle. Draw a nice little acute looking triangle right there. See how cute it is? All right, and then you could call it, now we call it just like we did a polygon. It doesn't matter what letter you start with. All right, let's start with A, just make it nice. And then we're going to call this, what do you think? A, B, C. Or you could call it ACB, right? You could start with C and go CAB or CBA. Could have started with B and gone BAC and BCA. It does not matter, all right? As long as you use those 3 points, it doesn't matter. Put a little triangle symbol in front of it, and that means triangle ABC. You have no idea how many times you're going to write triangle whatever, all right? We're going to do that a lot. You're going to see a ton of stuff with triangles. Let's talk about the sides and the angles. So let's talk about this angle right there. We already talked about what a side is, what an angle is, but we haven't talked about this. If I said, what is the side that's opposite, I'll just put OPP, opposite angle A. Okay? What is that? It's not going? It freeze up on me again? It sure did. Oh my goodness. Come on. It's the connection. I knew that would happen. This is the first time, but I knew that would happen with this connection because it's not wired in. It's wireless. And I had a feeling that that's going to happen at some point. It's working on my screen fine, but it's not casting to the projector. It's kind of froze up. Yes, Penny? I could, but then you wouldn't be able to see it for the video. Let's do this. See, I completely went away from this. Man, you know what I think I might do tomorrow? I might just hook it up, the wire to it, because I do not want this happening again. Nothing? Just completely froze on me. Well, we only... Well, I got enough right now. I'll stop after this picture. Even though you can't see it moving, on YouTube you can see it moving. Right, so if you want to really see it, you could go there. So I'll point and I'll write up here, so I'll do double duty. What side would be opposite angle A? Remember the sides. Let's list the 3 sides first of all. They would be what? AB, BC, and AC. All right. Which one do you think is opposite this angle? Is it working? All right, it's working now. So what do you think is opposite angle A? BC. See the one right there? All right, that would be opposite angle A. All right, so side opposite angle A would be line segment BC. I'll put the little segment over top of it. So which one is opposite angle B? So here's angle B right here. I'll put 2 arcs on there to show that it's different than this one. All right, so what side is opposite angle B? AC. And then one more, what do you think? Opposite angle C, which one would that be? AB. Pretty simple stuff, isn't it? Let's do another word. What if I was to measure the distance around this perimeter? We have a special word for that. Oh, I gave it away. I already said it, man. I was going to say triangle, and then I was thinking of the word, and I said it already. Did you hear what I just said? What if I wanted to add up the lengths of the sides of the triangle? What would I be finding? The perimeter. Very good. So you would be finding the perimeter. So what is the perimeter of something? Here's what I say. I just use 2 words for a definition. I guess there's other definitions that are a little bit longer and fancier, but to find the perimeter of something, you just find the distance around. That's all I say. The distance around. That's a nice, easy definition, isn't it? So it's the distance around it. So if that was 5, and that was 3, and that was 2, what's the perimeter of this triangle? 10. Very good. So how do you do that? You go 5 plus 3 plus 2 equals 10, and there you go. Pretty simple, isn't it? All right. What if you had a regular polygon? This will be the last thing I do, I promise. I said that earlier, I know. Let's go 6 sides.
Wait, so on the left one you added the sides?
Yeah, you add the sides together because the distance around, if I was to walk around that, pretend it was a building, all right? Pretend this was a triangular shaped building, okay? And you wanted to walk around it. You wanted to walk around the what? The perimeter of the building. You ever heard that before? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to walk around the perimeter. So you go from here to here. That's 5. I don't know, it's a little building, 5 yards. I don't know. 5 miles would be a huge building.
Wait, is 5 yards long?
No. A yard is this long. This is actually a meter. A yard is close to a meter. How many inches is a yard? 36. There's 36 inches. You believe me? It's 36. So look, 36 right here, my finger is. That's a yard from here to here. All right. So 5 yards would be a pretty tiny building, wouldn't it? Okay. But I just picked numbers out of the blue. So 36 is right there. A meter is just that much more than a yard. So when people talk about meters and yards, okay, meters pretty close, just a little bit longer than what a yard is, around 3 inches longer, something like that, close to that. All right. So the perimeter, the outside of this, that's what you would do. You'd walk around. Let's do one more thing with this and we'll be done. What does this kind of look like? Remember in the book I said you look at it and you say, oh, it kind of looks like what? How many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. But it looks like not just any old 6-sided figure. What does it look like? A what? Regular, right. It's a regular, not just any polygon. How many sides does it have? What's a 6-sided figure? 6-sided polygon? Hexagon. So we would call this a regular hexagon. What if I knew one of the sides? Let's just call it 5. What's a super easy way to find the perimeter? Instead of adding them all up, each side is 5 whatever, centimeters, inches, meters, feet, yards, whatever. It's 5. How do I find very easily the perimeter of a regular polygon? By how many sides, that's right. Okay, so take how many sides, how many sides does this have, and multiply it by 5. Okay, so what's the perimeter of this? It's 30. Here's what they do. They say the perimeter is equal to n times s. N represents the number of sides, and the s, there's a reason for this, don't worry about it. That talks about the distance, the length of each side. All right, so the length of the side, or the side length, okay? You with me on that? So you'll see this in the book. That's what that means. But you probably figured that out without this formula, didn't you? Yeah, pretty simple. I tell you what, let's do this. Let's push that quiz till Friday, all right? Because I want to finish this lesson because I just looked at the quiz, and the quiz, well, this is 1.6, isn't it? Okay. Well, the quiz goes up to 1.4. I only got like 3 minutes. I'm not going to review in 3 minutes, okay? I want to give you at least 10 minutes to review for the quiz. So let's see if there's anything else I can do super quick. Oh, let's do an example, then I'll quit, all right? Then we'll talk about some other stuff tomorrow. So let's do this really quick. It's we already kind of gave examples already. So what if you had this triangle? This is super easy. It's almost not even worth doing. But if this is 4 centimeters, and this isn't drawn to scale, that's okay. Doesn't matter, doesn't have to be. And I asked you, here's a question that they might ask you. Did you see this on the homework? If anybody tried the homework last night, did they ask for the perimeter of stuff? Yeah, we hadn't talked about it though, had we? All right, so let's talk about it now. So how do you find the perimeter of this? You add them all together. So it's 4 plus what? 8 plus 10. 4 plus 8 is 12. 12 plus 10 is 22. But do you circle 22 and leave it like that? No, it's 22 what? Centimeters. Everything is in centimeters. It's very, very important in geometry, and then when you start doing science especially, okay, in your science classes, you should always put the units. We call these the units. So this would be 22 centimeters. Is it 22 centimeters squared? Sometimes we do that. No, it's just centimeters. 4 centimeters, 8 centimeters is 12 what? Centimeters. Plus 10 centimeters is 22 centimeters. We'll talk about the squared stuff some other time. It's just 22 centimeters. Super easy. And then we had another one. The only other example was we basically did it already, okay? It was very similar to this. We already did it, so that's good enough for that second example. All right, so write in your notes that first thing we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to talk about a circle, and we're going to talk about a chord. That's the first thing we're going to talk about tomorrow. Everybody got that? So maybe there's some problems in that homework that you weren't able to do before with the perimeter and that kind of thing. So go back and look at those. Just do those, right? And get those out of the way. And then tomorrow, hopefully, we'll finish this whole lesson. It's taken us 3 days. But hopefully we'll finish that lesson, and then you can have them all done, and you'll be good to go. Stay in your seats till the bell rings, and then have a great rest of the day.